What if society, instead of civilizing us, is actually corrupting us? This was the radical question posed by 18th century philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Born amidst the intellectual fervor of the Enlightenment, Rousseau dared to challenge the status quo. In an era where reason and progress were celebrated, he looked back to a simpler, more natural state of humanity. Rousseau's ideas were audacious, provocative, and contrary to the popular beliefs of his time. A self-proclaimed citizen of Geneva, he was a man who dared to swim against the tide, to question the established norms of his society. He asked us to consider the possibility that civilization, with its rules and restrictions, might be the very thing that's stifling our true inherent goodness. His audacity provoked controversy, sparked debates, and forced his contemporaries to rethink their understanding of society and human nature. Now, are you ready to dive into the world of Rousseau's philosophy? Prepare to challenge your preconceived notions of society and human nature. Rousseau's philosophy begins with a controversial assumption. In their natural state, humans are essentially good. Now, this may seem a bit far-fetched, considering the world we live in today, but let's delve into Rousseau's mind and see the world from his perspective. Rousseau conjures up the image of the noble savage, a term that has since become synonymous with his philosophy. This noble savage, in Rousseau's view, is a creature of instinct and simplicity, living in harmony with nature. Free from the constraints of society, they are unburdened by greed, jealousy, or ambition. Instead, they are guided by their simplest needs and desires, living a life of uncomplicated contentment. But what happens when this noble savage encounters society? Rousseau argues that this is where corruption seeps in. Society, with its rules and hierarchies, its wealth and its poverty, is the source of our downfall. It brings inequality, breeds discontent, and fosters negative emotions such as envy and spite. The noble savage, once free and content, becomes ensnared in a web of societal expectations and constraints, leading to unhappiness. Rousseau's concept of the natural man is a stark contrast to the Hobbesian view of human nature, which sees humans as naturally competitive and selfish. Instead, Rousseau argues that it is society that breeds these negative attributes. The natural man, in his view, is not a brutish savage, but a being of simplicity and goodness. It's a fascinating perspective, isn't it? Rousseau essentially flips our understanding of human nature on its head. He makes us question whether it is our nature that is flawed or whether it is our society that leads us astray. Rousseau's vision of the natural man is a radical departure from the way we typically view human nature. It challenges us to rethink our assumptions about society and its effects on us. If society corrupts us, why do we form societies in the first place? Rousseau has an answer, and it's called the social contract. Picture a world where all humans live according to their natural instincts, a world without laws, without government, and without social structures. This is the state of nature, as imagined by Jean-Jacques Rousseau. But how do we leap from this anarchic state to an orderly society? Rousseau believes the bridge that connects these two worlds is the social contract. The social contract, according to Rousseau, is an agreement among individuals to surrender their brute, natural freedom in exchange for the protection of their rights by a government. You see, in the state of nature, while we are free to do whatever we please, we are also vulnerable to the whims and brutalities of others. To escape this chaos, humans band together, surrendering part of their freedom to form a government that ensures mutual protection and respect for everyone's rights. But it's not just any government. The authority of the government comes directly from the people through what Rousseau calls the general will. This general will isn't just the sum of individual wills. Rather, it represents the collective act of all members of a society aiming for the common good. It's not about what we want as individuals, but what we want as a society, and so the social contract is born. It's a delicate balance, a trade-off between individual freedom and societal order. But in this balance, Rousseau sees the potential for a society that values equality and freedom, where the government is not a tyrant, but a servant of the people, a reflection of their general will. Yet, Rousseau's social contract is not without its critics. Some question the feasibility of the general will, others the very idea of surrendering natural freedom. But despite these criticisms, the social contract remains a cornerstone of modern political philosophy. The social contract is perhaps Rousseau's most influential idea, and it continues to shape our understanding of democracy and governance today. Rousseau's philosophy, while controversial, has had a profound impact on the world. His radical ideas, born in the era of Enlightenment, charted a course that would steer the world towards revolution and beyond. Let's first consider the French Revolution. It was a time of upheaval, a period when the common man dared to question the absolute authority of the monarchy. Rousseau's belief in the sovereignty of the people resonated deeply with the revolutionaries. His writings, particularly The Social Contract, became a moral compass guiding the revolution, fueling the quest for a society rooted in equality and liberty. But the ripples of Rousseau's influence extend beyond politics. Take the Romantic movement, for instance. This artistic, literary, and intellectual movement was a direct rebellion against the rationalism championed by the Enlightenment. The Romantics, inspired by Rousseau's emphasis on emotion and individualism, sought to capture the sublime beauty of nature and the human spirit in their works. Even in the realm of education, Rousseau left an indelible mark. His novel Émile proposed a radical new approach to education, one that prioritized the natural development of a child over the rote learning prevalent in his time. This idea continues to shape our understanding of child-centric education today. Rousseau's philosophy, however, is not just a historical artifact. It continues to provoke debate and inspire reflection in our contemporary world. His ideas about the corruption of humanity by society, the inherent goodness of the natural man, and the importance of individual freedom challenge us to question and critique our own societies. Rousseau challenges us to question the nature of society and our place within it. His philosophy, while complex, offers us a fresh perspective on the world. Now it's your turn to engage. Like and subscribe if you want to dive deeper into the world of philosophy, and comment below with which philosopher you would like us to cover next.